welcome to Flower Press, a series where we chat with inspiring leaders, creators and visionaries, all whilst we're arranging beautiful blooms. I am particularly excited today because we are chatting with not only a really dear, close friend of mine, but also somebody whose work involves bringing harmony and success and positive energy into our homes and into our lives. So, welcome, Kelly McCloskey.
Thanks, Courtney.
Kelly McCloskey, I should also say Kelly McCloskey, also known as the Feng Shui Girl. So follow that on Instagram.
Thank you. Thanks, Court.
I would love for you to tell us, you're a leading expert in Feng Shui, but it's not something that you've always done. How did you go from having a really successful career in real estate to becoming one of, if not the biggest experts in Feng Shui in the country?
Thank you. Yes. My background is real estate sales and I love property, and I'm a little bit of a property perv, if you like. I'd lived in 18 houses by the time I was 18. So I had this fascination with real estate from a very early age. And over my career as a real estate agent, I saw history repeating itself in certain houses. So people would call me up and say, Kelly, can you come and sell our house? My husband and I have separated, and then the couple who would buy the house off me, I'd get the same phone call 2 years later, they too are separating. And history repeated itself with not only relationship issues, but money problems. You know, Cal, can you sell the house before the bank does? And also I had a couple of houses where numerous vendors had cancer or leukemia, which was, horrible. So I thought there must be something to this. This is really quite interesting, and I just came across Feng Shui in a very strange way. That I picked up a magazine one day, the dirty stack of magazines that you used to have when you were waiting for your sandwiches to get made at the cafe. They don't have them anymore now, COVID.
Almost like doctor's magazines, so maybe slightly better.
This one. But there was a Feng Shui Today magazine there. I'm like, oh, what's this? Well, I was waiting for my sandwich and had a read, and I'm like, this is interesting. Anyway, there was a course offered here in Melbourne, and unfortunately, the course was every Friday, Saturday and Sunday, which was not ideal for a real estate agent. So I took the leap of faith, resigned, and went studying Feng Shui, which when I told my parents, my father looked at my mother and said, has Kelly joined a cult? So it was something,
I know your father, and I can imagine.
It was very, very, Lindsay was not happy. But it's all worked out. It's probably just ahead of my time back then. But now Feng Shui isn't so left of centre as what it was 10 years ago. Yeah.
And so I guess just to rewind a little bit, I've been to a couple of your workshops, so I feel like I've got the basics, but for our audience, what would you say are the principles of Feng Shui?
Sure.
Or Feng Shui, should I say?
However you can say it.
Okay.
So Feng Shui literally means wind and water, and it's been around for a very, very long time. Back Tang Dynasty, it was a normal practice. It still is a normal practice, over in the Asian cultures. Even it's very big in Russia, believe it or not.
Really?
It's huge.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I know. It is interesting. And they believe that your environment impacts your life, which I agree, because we spend more time at home than we do anywhere else. Like if you can't get a flower, if the flower's not blooming, you change its environment.
Yes.
Not the flower.
Yeah.
So it's the same sort of thing as that. So we look at someone's environment and we manipulate the energies to best support everyone's health, their relationships, their wealth, kids with academic success, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to get a bit more specific, for example, in your home or a client's home, what are just a couple of things that you would do? Or is that...
Clutter is a killer. Yes, I have been to your house. It's hard. We've got kids, so it's hard.
Yes.
But clutter is a bit of a killer. It is a killer. We don't want clutter. We want to make sure the front of our house is really beautiful. Beautiful garden.
Yes.
No shoes sitting at the front door, that sort of thing.
Yes.
It's good. Also, your garden's really important, because if you have a shitty garden, the energy, the chi, if you like, is not going to come to your house. It's like when you're taking the dog for a walk on Saturday morning, and there's always that one house that you walk past and you think, geez, I really like that house. I'd love to see what it looks like inside.
Yes.
That has got good Feng Shui.
Yes.
Because it's all about form is really important, what your form looks like.
And I remember at one of your workshops, and I'm going to get this completely wrong.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me, or telling the class, about the masculine energy and the feminine energy.
Yeah, right.
And you can even see that from the outside, the external part of the house. Is
Yes.
that right?
So say, for example, this is our house here and our front door is here.
Yes.
Anything to the right represents the masculine and anything to the left represents the feminine.
And so what does that mean?
So ideally, we want a higher house on our left and a smaller house to our right.
Right.
Same with floor plans. You have a double fronted house, so your hallway is down the middle of the house and then everyone's balanced. Happy days, masculine, feminine, everyone's balanced. However, if you live in a single fronted house, the hallway will run down one side and there'll be, so my old house when I was single and ready to mingle was I had the hallway down the right hand side and the bedrooms were off to the left. So it was a feminine house. I loved that house. It was all about a woman would love that house, but a man would hate it.
Right.
So we can look at a lot of someone's floor plan, you can see things playing out, or even from the street, you can see what's going on. Another big tip is we love to see something tall in the back. So if we're standing across the road looking back at your house, we want to see something taller in your backyard. So the occupants will feel safe, secure, supported.
Yes, right. And so I love that. And you very briefly touched on it then. You lived in a feminine house, which you loved.
I did love.
We have a few single ladies here at Daily Blooms.
Oh, mate.
And I'm sure we have some in our audience.
All the single ladies.
Feel free to do that.
No.
I'd love it. What are there any?
What you can do.
Are there any feng shui tips?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, artwork is really important. So girls, get rid of the female nudes, the single female nude reclining back on something like that is a disaster. What you look at, you will manifest. So I often go to people's houses and you look at their artwork and think, wow, this is, life is playing out here in your art. So get rid of the nudes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other big one is no matter what you're wanting to manifest, whatever it is, put the image behind your bed head. Because I've manifested my husband, I've manifested some kids, I've manifested a holiday house.
So, but how do you? So, I think that's brilliant, and you've told me this before.
That's good. It's really good.
But
I've told you what you want to manifest and what to do.
Yeah,
this
have.
This is looking so shit. This is why I play. This is why I get my flowers from Courtney at Daily Blooms. Anyway,
you know what? Just watch the scissors. Watch. I don't want anyone chopping their finger off. Okay, actually, that's not going to work.
It's fine. Anyway,
let me do.
Hang on, manifesting. So yes, your artwork.
Okay.
What you hang up, you will manifest. And have a think about it. Like, think, what have I got hanging behind my bed? Like, abstract art is a difficult one because what does it mean to you? Like, you could see something in an abstract piece and I can't see it. So, yeah.
Abstract art is
well, it's hard to actually work out what it is.
Right.
Just like the image, but I'd rather, if you wanted, say for example, you want to get pregnant, find an image, if you're married, what have you, find an image with mum and dad elephant and a baby elephant, to be very simple with
a
it.
very
Something.
family.
A family photo. This is terrible.
No, it's good.
Shit. Sorry.
You know what? Assembling whilst chatting
Is hard.
It's hard. It's hard. But you know what I love about you, Kelly? Which I love. It's like one of your biggest, green ticks is you just go ahead. Full steam ahead. You're just like...
God loves to try it. You've got to keep trying.
You know what? It'll come together. That's the thing about flowers. You can't go wrong. They always come together in the end.
Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
I thought I did.
That's all right. I need to cut them a bit. That's fine. It's just me. I'm not used to this.
Another thing that I would love to talk about is if I'm at home, I have my home, whether it's double-fronted, single-fronted, whether it's
An apartment, yeah.
What are some simple things people can do in their home to improve their feng shui and therefore improve their life?
Great. I would, so if you live in an apartment, your front door is actually the balcony door where the energy with the chi comes into. So it's not the front door of the apartment. It's actually your balcony.
What happens if you don't have a balcony?
Well, most apartments do, or where the natural light comes in. Usually there's a big window, a bank of natural light coming in somewhere. So that's a big one with that. Don't ever have a mirror facing your front door because I think of chi or energy like a naughty toddler. If you walk into, sometimes you walk in somewhere and you open the door and there's a mirror and you're thinking, I wasn't expecting that, and you automatically take a step back.
Yes.
We don't want that.
Okay.
So don't have a mirror facing a door. Make sure if you have a mirror, make sure it's always facing something beautiful, like back to the garden or back to your dining table where you've got a beautifully arranged bunch of flowers. That sort of thing. We want it to be, you don't want a mirror facing back to a white wall, for example.
So the idea is to keep
bouncing energy. The beautiful looking energy, not the, we don't want a mirror bouncing back the washing machine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right, got it.
And
in terms of Feng Shui principles, does it just apply to your home and how you design your home?
Yes, it's home.
And so is it, I mean, we've talked a little bit about furniture and a little bit about floor plan, but if you move into a home and it's set in a certain way, or if you're a tenant and you're renting and so you can't make some changes, what would you recommend for... What would you recommend?
What's the remedy?
Yeah, what's the remedy?
I think clutter is key, you know,
Right.
and very few of us will ever stay in the same home for long periods of time. So we can always change our environment too. So the perfect house, like the perfect person, doesn't exist.
Yes.
So we work with what we have.
Okay.
You know, we're both married. We understand this.
I do understand this. Okay. And so I would love, so when you walked in here, Kelly,
Yes. Oh,
we were chatting in the kitchen before we started this, and I'm so sorry about the thorn.
It's fine.
I thought I did, you know what?
OH&S is here somewhere. It's fine.
When we were in here and we were chatting in the kitchen, you saw the path that the hallway that leads to our bathroom.
To the loo, yeah.
And we have a big mirror, and you said, that's terrible Feng Shui.
It's not great Feng Shui, because it was looking back down a hallway. We don't want mirrors at the end of hallways because the energy will just bounce back out.
Can Feng Shui principles apply to businesses?
For sure. I get called in all the time to work on commercial properties, industrial properties, everything, all sorts of properties, everything. Anything that's on the ground.
And so is that just about relationships at work or
money, yeah, restaurants. I've turned a number of restaurants around who weren't doing that well. We've made some adjustments in the kitchen, even where the door is located, and things can turn around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really great. It's really interesting.
That is super interesting.
Helping people get pregnant, that's one of my favourites.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what are some little...
Not that I just do the magic, not the magic.
And so what would be your most popular requests in terms of Feng Shui?
In general, it's general, like everyone wants a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Everyone wants help with their relationships or finding the right person or relationship with their kids because, kids go through... We all want to give our children the best chance we can. So if we can support them at home, we will. You do anything for your children.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's a big one. When kids sort of sometimes go off the rail, we look at that. Yeah. And we see how we can fix it.
I remember from one of your workshops, you said something that was really interesting and applied to my kids. We have, in their bedroom, they have a bed that has a whole heap of shelves where they can store books, homework, clutter.
Yeah, all that stuff above their bed.
Yeah, and I remember you saying that was...
Not great, because it's like, can you imagine going to bed with the world on your shoulders? That's what I feel like that's the energy of that.
Yeah. It was like, you know what, I got home and we changed that. We actually got rid of the bed and put in a different bed. So there you go.
Great.
And I think actually...
It's better?
Yeah, it does seem to have made a bit of a shift.
The big one though with bedrooms is that we're not sharing a bed head with our smart meter.
Right.
Or we don't want our bed head. Often smart meters, the power box is at the front of the house.
Yes.
People have their bed at the front of their master bedroom at the front of the house. You don't want to be sharing that wall because that smart meter is very unhealthy.
And so what kind of things can happen if you are sharing a wall with
insomnia, like really bad stuff.
Yeah, right.
Cancers. You can go down the Google trap of having a look and seeing what smart meter and health issues related to that are, but it's not good. That's my big no-no. They're like, I'll have to put my head against the window. I don't care. Put your head against anything else, but not the smart meter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's super interesting.
And if you're not sure, if you do that and you think, something's amiss, you can buy an EMF reader really easily online. They're not expensive and you can just see what reading you're actually getting from that. It's what charge you're getting from that smart meter.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's... Good, very good tip. At Daily Blooms, our business is all about flowers.
Yes.
Are there any Feng Shui principles that relate to having flowers in your home?
Yes.
Gifting flowers?
It's great.
Something?
I always, if I have a friend in hospital who's not well, I always send flowers because flowers are yang energy. They're alive.
Right.
So
yeah,
that'll help them. That'll help them feel better. You want near the window, getting the yang energy from the window, but you want the flowers as well sitting there to give them a bit of boost.
Some of the things you say, they make a lot of sense when you say them, but you don't necessarily think about them
I know. Yes.
until somebody like you says, flowers are alive.
For sick people or for elderly people, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. So flowers are a beautiful gift to give someone.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So Kelly, as growing up, my mum actually was really interested in Feng Shui, and so she would always say things to me like the front door shouldn't face the back door. And I imagine there's lots of, whether that information's true or untrue, I imagine there's lots of misinformation out there. Are there any?
There's heaps, because unfortunately Feng Shui has got a bit of a bad rap, because people think Feng Shui is putting a red ribbon around your taps and it's going to bring you money.
Yes.
No, it just doesn't even make sense.
I would love that to be true.
And the front door facing the back door, as you know, we're about to start renovating our house, and I purposely have designed our front door to line up with our back door. So that's another Feng Shui.
Right. That's a myth.
It's a myth. Like, so back in the late 70s, early 80s, this American guy was quite clever and pulled Feng Shui principles and made them trinkets, if you like. So the red ribbon, the gold coins.
Oh, monetized it.
The cat. You know?
Really?
Yeah, so the cat is like, people think, that's where you see cats at tip jars all the time.
Yes.
Because it's like the energy is moving to say, put your money in here.
Yes.
That's why there's the kitty, the waving kitty. So I can see sort of where they're going with that, but it's not in the right spot. The cat's not strong enough. There's all these issues with it. But this Feng Shui has got a bad rep with all these sort of trinkety things.
Yes.
If I come to your house and do your Feng Shui, there is no trinkets. There is nothing anywhere. No one would ever know.
Trinkets are clutter, right? I guess.
Yeah,
yes.
No one wants a trinket in the house.
Kelly, you also touched on, during this conversation, fertility.
Yes.
Which is such a huge issue, and so many women struggle with fertility issues. What principles have you used, or
Well, I was an excellent guinea pig myself, because when I met my husband, I thought, I like this guy, he's a bit of a right, better go and see Dr. Trudy, get the once over, make sure I'm good to go. Went and saw Dr. Trudy, called me back for the result. She's like, that's great. This is not so great. So she rang pathology and said, what's checking? This can't be correct. Anyway, it was correct. I had the egg count of a 55-year-old woman when I was 36 years old. Right? So the odds of me getting pregnant were like, boom, boom.
Oh my gosh.
And believe it or not, second month of trying, knocked up. My husband, I swear, for 6 months was like, well, that's exciting, because I don't think, we'd only been dating for like 6 months when we decided to get knocked up, because I feel like if someone says, you can't do that, you're like, you watch me do that.
Yeah.
So I believe 100% that Feng Shui 100% helped me get pregnant, not once, but twice.
And so do you think it was your living environment?
It was, if you look at someone's chart, you can see which is a healthy bedroom, which is not a healthy bedroom. So if there's anyone at home trying to get pregnant and they're not having any luck, I would suggest changing bedrooms.
Right.
Because we spend more time in our bedroom than anywhere else throughout the day.
Yeah.
And if the energy in your bedroom is not supportive, it's challenging, you're just going to be constantly coming up with battles. You know, if you know someone that's going through cancer treatments, what have you, get them out of that bedroom, because your environment really dictates your life.
Yes. Yeah.
So that bedroom is a good chance that bedroom is making them sick.
Wow.
Same with getting pregnant. I remember having a client, this is years ago, and she built this new house and it was all asked about. The garage should have been the master bedroom should have been the garage. It was terrible, and she couldn't get pregnant. I said, you've got to move to the study. The study is where it's at. Anyway, she fell pregnant. She's actually got 4 kids now. So I know. So it's really good.
Wow.
I know.
And so can I ask, once you move into these different rooms, or you create a space that has the positive energy, does it stay like that forever?
Changes every 20 years.
Oh.
So it's just changed as of last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, people would typically move within 20 years anyway.
For sure. And some people, you find, you probably can think of people now that have been in good luck, and then all of a sudden they've started off this year, and things have shifted, or people that have sort of always just been, you know, balancing everything, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, everything's really going the right way for them.
Yes.
Because the energy's changed last year.
Right. And so does everyone in the world every 20 years. So we're not all on different cycles.
Doesn't matter where you live in the world, it's all the same cycle.
Wow.
There you go.
That's so interesting. I love that. And so when it is a 20-year cycle and different things happen, are there things within that 20-year cycle that'll be consistent across the board?
Everyone has the same energies, just in different spots. So there's ones like arguments and conflicts. We ideally want to keep that in the spare room or in the laundry, or we don't want it in the kitchen because you know, making dinner, and next thing World War III breaks out around the dining table.
Right.
So we try and, where you spend the most amount of time, you activate that energy.
Right.
So we want the challenging energies in the rooms we don't spend a lot of time in.
Yeah, okay.
That's why your bedroom's so important.
Yes, okay. And I remember you once said to me, sorry to jump all over the shop here, but you once said to me, indoor plants, which I love,
Yes.
and we sell a lot of,
Yes.
not in the bedroom.
Not in the bedroom because they're yang energy. So our bedroom should be yin, a place where we go to sleep and rest, relax. That's why TVs shouldn't be in bedrooms.
Right.
Devices shouldn't be in bedrooms. But plants, again, shouldn't be in bedrooms. And I appreciate that, you know, snake plants give you this and that. But it's if you sleep well and you've got plants in your bed, fine. But the majority of my clients who've got plants in their bedrooms have terrible sleep.
Yeah, right.
So they're better for an active room, like the living room, the dining
Yes.
table, the kitchen. It's great. Bathroom even, but not in bedrooms.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Kelly. How's your flower arrangement looking?
I don't think I'm going to get a job at Daily Blooms, but
I think it's good.
yeah, I think you're just
I
being...
feel like you
think
got a
just
little bit of a bald spot there.
Yeah, right, here we go. I think you're just being a bit polite, but anyway.
No, I think it's good.
It's-
I like the tones. I feel like it's working.
You bought the flowers, you should like the tones.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, our last question for today: if you could give a beautiful bouquet of flowers to anybody in the world, who would it be and why?
I would give it to the three gentlemen working behind the scenes here today. They've worked very hard and it's a bit warm here in the Daily Blooms head office.
It is.
So I'll give it to the gentlemen because boys also need flowers.
They
you know,
do,
it's not a
yeah.
girl thing. Boys love flowers.
That's very generous of you, Kelly.
So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your hard work.
Amazing. Well, I think it's time to do a bit of a reveal of our creations. Kelly, I think you nailed it.
I don't think so.
I thought.
I won't be getting a second job at Daily Blooms, but that's okay.
That's all right. You've got a full-time gig as a Feng Shui Girl. So Kelly, where can people find you?
My website is thefengshuigirl.com. I'm on all socials, TikTok, Facebook, Insta, all of them, YouTube. You can find me there.
Your Insta is great.
Thank you.
You've got
Lots of
so many tips and
Thank you.
tricks.
I try and help because I want to get rid of the Feng Shui myths. So
Yeah, there you go, myth busting.